Good afternoon, guys. Now, I've just come back from the cinema with my good lady wife. We went and watched a movie, but to get there we got a bus, and to get back we got a bus. Now, you may not know this, but we now have new buses with new engines. And what these engines do is, as soon as the bus stops, the engine turns off. Okay? Then the bus will pull away electrically. Okay? So an electric motor kicks in, the bus pulls away electrically, then after about 5 seconds, boom, the engine starts back up again. So it's all fuel saving and economy saving and everything else. Pretty good idea, yeah? Unfortunately, when the bus stops and the engine turns off, so does the fan upstairs in the baking hot tube that is the upstairs of a bus. Now, this may seem like a good idea, but the minute it stops and the engine switches off, so does the fan. These new buses also have 3 windows, and half of them are not open. And I think half of them are not open because you probably can't open them. They look like they're locked, so you can't open the windows anyway. The windows that are open, which is probably about 1 or 2, there's hardly no air coming through, so you're constantly stopping, and then the engine's switching off, and then it's getting baking hot on the bus, and you start to sweat. And then all of a sudden it takes off again, but the engine doesn't start up straight away. No, it goes into another mode, an electric mode, so it sort of takes off all smooth, but still the fan ain't coming on. And I'm sitting there thinking, please come on, engine, please kick in. So the engine all of a sudden starts up, and then the fan comes back on, and you think, oh, thank God for that. And then the fan's on and it's blowing on you, it's all really nice. And then the bus has a red light, and it stops at the red light, and then when it stops at the red light, the engine cuts off again. So you're on the bus and you're dying because every light is red, and every bus stop is only 10 feet from the last one, so you're just constantly stopping, and the engine switches off, and so does the fan, and in the end you're just sitting there and you're just sweating. And the engine's cutting off, and it's doing your head in, and then when it's taking off, and you think, oh please, come on and get that fan, come on, the fan's going to come on, the fan's going to come back on, and it doesn't come back on straight away. No, you got to wait until the electric motor kicks in, and then all of a sudden it starts up again. Okay, it might be a good idea, but it is the most stressful thing, especially in the summer when you're sitting on the top deck. I don't want the engine to turn off. I like the engine running. I don't like the stress it causes when you, because every stop you get on the stop, you get to the stop, and then the engine switches off, and you think, why is the engine switched off? What's happening? You know, if we all got to get off, you know, you get every time it stops, you're waiting for the driver to say, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but you know, I'm afraid we've broken down, you've got to get off, you know, and then it switches off the fan. The fan, by the way, which doesn't work that well to start with. You only get a tiny little bit of breeze coming out of it, but you get some breeze, and some breeze is better than no breeze, but you don't get no benefit from it because it's constantly switching off. Now, you know, I just don't want it. I don't want to get on a bus that has its engine constantly switching off, which switches off the fan. I don't mind it switching off, okay, switch off by all means, but don't switch off the fan. Can't you make the electric motor just power the fan just for a few seconds while people get on? You know, I don't know why they can't. You know, it takes off electrically, which is actually kind of nice because it's smooth and there's no sound, there's nothing. But then You know, you've got no fan. The fan switches off. So I've been sitting there all the way back to where I live, and it takes it's about 40 minutes to get back. And so I've just been sitting there constantly switching off the engine, putting it back on, turning off the fan, making you sweat, then turning it back on, and then just when the fan starts cooling you down a slight little bit, then there's either a set of traffic lights or there's another bus stop, and then you're dying again. Please, London Transport, please make the fan work. Make the fan stay on when you turn off the engine. You know, I appreciate you know, it's all for the economy and it's all for whatever it's for. I can appreciate it. But, you know, and if they're saving money, by the way, they ain't dropping the prices of their fares. Oh, no. They don't do that, do they? They go, oh, well, we're saving all this money. We're saving up to 10% on petrol, you know. But we're still going to charge you 500 quid to get on the bus. No, it's, you know, just please. I want to sit on the bus. I don't want the engine to turn off. But if the engine does turn off, I don't want the fan to turn off. When we're sitting there and it's 157 degrees on the top deck of the bus, you know, we need the fan on. And then when you stop, you know, when you're stopping at lights, every single set of traffic lights, when you're on one of these buses, guys, every set of traffic lights, I mean every set of traffic lights, is just red. I think what happens is I think traffic lights have a sensor on them that know about the buses that switch their engines off automatically, and they have a sensor and just go bop, and they automatically go to red just so they can torture the passengers even more than they're already tortured. You know, we're tortured enough as passengers on a bus. We don't want the fan to be switched off every 20 seconds. It's not fair. We're all sitting there melting and dying. You know, and we're just trapped. You're just trapped on the top deck of the bus. You can't do anything about it. It's constantly stopping and switching off the fan. And it's just torture. It's torture. It's made me, I hate buses as it is, but it's now made me just not want to get on a bus anymore. I just want to walk or buy a bike or something. You know, because I can't be taking all this. I can't be dealing with this. It's horrible. Please, London Transport, if you have to cut the engine off on your buses, please let the fan continue to keep us cool. It's stressful enough on a bus. It's hot on a bus. It's smelly on a bus. It's horrible on a bus. You know, we just want the fans to stay on. Please, I'm begging you to keep the fans on. Please do something, modify these engines so that when they switch off, the fan doesn't switch off with it. Nothing else switches off. The doors are still working electronically, and so surely the fan is, or does the fan work through the actual petrol engine? I don't know. And if that's the case, that means they're never going to rectify it. You know, please, I can't be dealing with this. You know, it's horrible. It's torture sitting on a new bus now. So, you know, guys, if you've got these new buses, or if you haven't got them, good, make sure you never do. But if you do, guys, and you haven't been on one yet, brace yourself, because it is absolutely torture. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all soon.